Когда я пришел к Абдулманапу именно, было где-то 16, наверное. Тренировался, проходил, боролся. Ну, много таких ребят было, и все такие были уже бойцы, у которых уже есть профессиональные поединки, а я просто молодой пацан. Я был одним из самых маленьких. Тренер во мне что-то видел, понимал, что что-то смогу добиться.
So what makes Islam so strong? Is it the stand-up? Is it the grappling? Is it the cardio? Is it the mind?
He can, with boxer, he can box. With striker, like kicker, he can kick. Like wrestler, he can wrestle. Like he good everywhere.
What makes that takedown so dominant and then able to hold someone down on the canvas?
He's so patient, he's so strong, and he just goes little, 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 and little until he gets right where he wants to be.
Islam's, he's for real. That grappling is serious.
There is fighters, there is champion, there is elite. Islam is elite.
There is not a question in my mind that guy could win a world championship. Because there is not a very likely scenario where anybody is going to be able to explain how Islam Makhachev is not now the #1 contender.
Hey guys, you can run, but you can hide. I'm coming, I'm here.
In a cramped, sunlit living room, a gathering of Dagestan family members are in morning prayers. Bowing and kneeling quietly, the spiritual solemnity of their sacred practice is a silent strength observed. February 26, 2022. In the octagon, a catchweight battle is underway between a focused Islam Makhachev and a confident Bobby Green. The first round starts cautiously. Then a powerful takedown by Islam. The grappling turns to wrestling as Green struggles to get free of Islam's smothering hold on him. Islam works for a submission, but can't find the positioning. Sitting atop Bobby, he starts pounding. He somehow gets Green onto his stomach, looking for a choke possibility, but it turns into a fierce ground and pound. Islam keeps hitting and hitting and hitting. The fight is stopped before Green gets seriously damaged.
No surprise, right?
First round technical knockout.
This is how this fight could play out. That Islam is that dominant.
A drone wanders through the sharp, craggy mountains of Dagestan. Hanging off the side of a majestic mass of rock at an elevation of 2,300 meters, the small, huddled village of Burshi, population of a little over 200. Simple homes built of stone connected by rocky footpaths, with emerald fields lying lazily below and children running from house to house. In a small, ramshackle gym, a village elder is coaching a couple of 10-year-old boys in a makeshift boxing ring. An older teenager's hitting a speed bag with surety, and over in the brightly lit corner, a young man is on a taped-up heavy bag. A quiet place with only the sounds of leather hitting leather and bodies hitting bodies. A sense of purpose and a scene of poignancy high up in the bare North Caucasus Mountains.
Declaring the winner by TKO.
Islam Makhachev raises his gloved hands in victory. He smiles somewhat shyly as he circles the cage. He wraps an arm around a defeated and beaten Bobby Green, who almost seems relieved. A fitting conclusion to a stretch of UFC victories for the 30-year-old Islam. But he's still hungry. There's the long-awaited lightweight championship belt, presently held by Charles Oliveira. Islam desperately wants that belt.
I don't want the straight belt. I want real and gold one.
He owes it to himself and Khabib Nurmagomedov, his longtime friend, mentor, and coach. Makhachev walks through his village, greeting neighbors and speaking softly to the children following him. The local hero is welcome everywhere. His humility is endearing, and his unequivocal superiority in the cage is arresting. Out of this peaceful and serene setting in a southern corner of Russia emerged two of the world's fiercest fighters. Both combat sambo world champions. Both UFC conquerors. Both quiet and humble Muslims. Islam Ramazanovich Makhachev was born on the 27th of September 1991. His birthplace is Makhachkala, Dagestan, and he grew up in Burshi. He holds Russian nationality and belongs to the Lak ethnicity. The young man maintains a very private life regarding his family and personal life. No one knows if he's married, if he has children, who his parents are, except those closest to him. He has fought his way through life, and his journey is to climb the UFC Lightweight Mountain, following in the heralded footsteps of Khabib Nurmagomedov. Islam Makhachev and Khabib Nurmagomedov. Childhood friends who grew up next door to each other, went to the same small school, trained in the same small gym, trained by the same coach. Khabib's father, Abdulmanap, always competing against one another, always helping each other. They worked out using large stones, often running up the mountainside 3 times a day. Hard work is in their DNA.
Вот и закончилась тренировка. Справа от нас сидит спарринг-партнер Islam Makhachev, который готовится на мех по боевому самбо.
School wasn't really important to Islam. He knew very early on what his life's work was to be, and he trained for that. He once was asked what he would have done had he not been a fighter, and he quietly said a simple life, maybe farming, or something similar in his mountain-ringed homeland.
Maybe I make some small business, and I very like village, farm, animals. Maybe I make something like this.
The word humble keeps coming to mind when talking about this brave but tenacious young warrior. Khabib Nurmagomedov was a UFC Lightweight Champion who retired undefeated and considered by many to be the pound-for-pound best fighter in the world. In recent times, the region of Dagestan has been recognized as producing some of the world's best athletes in combat sports, and produces disproportionately the most MMA fighters of any country. Khabib's father Abdulmanap told Khabib before his passing that when he leaves the sport as champion, Islam will take his place.
У меня есть другой боец, идет сменить Хабиба на чемпионский пояс. Islam Makhachev, дайте.
Makhachev was once referred to as the little Khabib, although it would be safe to say now that Khabib is the big Islam.
Do you mind being compared to Khabib so often?
I like that because, Khabib is a very good guy.
Khabib is the longest reigning UFC lightweight champion, winning every battle from April 2018 to March 2021.
Still undisputed, Khabib Nurmagomedov. That's it.
29 wins across his entire career, 0 losses.
Morris is all but out here. That'll do it. Khabib Nurmagomedov.
He's a two-time combat sambo world champion, a Russian martial art similar to judo and jiu-jitsu, combined with different wrestling styles. He wrestled bears when he was 9 years old. True story. Khabib's father was his and Islam Makhachev's longtime trainer.
I want to say thank you for my father.
He died in July 2020 from complications of COVID-related heart surgery. He told the two boys that his biggest and best investment was them. And that investment had paid off handsomely.
Я знаю, что я смертный, все отхватить денег не смогу, но то, что сделал я историю для своей малой родины и России, и во всем мире для смешанного единородства, я считаю, я сполна отдал себя. И мои воспитанники показали это. Я не буду об этом сожалеть.
Forget the money and fame. These men have inspired millions and showed the Western world the beauty of their culture and story. And as they say, it ain't over yet for Islam. Makhachev showed early on that he didn't want to be a trivial champion. He wanted to stand out, pure determination and will. He doesn't play it safe. He knew MMA was his thing when he won an amateur combat sambo tournament. That's how it started. Sambo is a military martial art that emphasizes striking, grappling, submission techniques, and controlling opponents. It is an internationally practiced combat sport and a recognized style of amateur wrestling included by the UWW and the World Wrestling Championships, along with Greco-Roman wrestling and freestyle wrestling. Islam has all the skills: striking, grappling, wrestling. His abilities across all areas of MMA is second to none. He has developed a solid stand-up game with tight-hitting power, and his takedowns are already legendary. Then there's the other tools in the fighter's box: body triangle holds, arm bars, half guards, full mounts, and the killer of them all, the submission. Makhachev is a body mechanic.
I think there was an interview with Duran Wynn, and he's just like, man, when I wrestled with Islam, he's like, that's the strongest dude I've ever wrestled.
After what happened with my father, it's gonna be my last fight. And if I give my word, I have to follow this.
Since retiring in late 2020, Khabib Nurmagomedov actively coaches and corners Makhachev for all his fights. Khabib and Islam are like brothers.
You know, this guy not just my teammates, not just my friends, brother. He's like my, like family, He always told me what I have to do. He just showed me way what I have to do. That's why this is not guy who like just helped me in the gym. He helped me always, like his father. He just not my coach, like he cared about my life, not about just my sports career. He always take care about my life.
Khabib traveled with Islam and his team to the US without his family and was not paid. In fact, he picked up the tab for hotels, rentals, and etc.
He rent big house for team. He rent a lot of cars for team, and nobody pay. He pay for everything.
He is the patriarch of the Dagestan fighters. He watches out for them. He takes care of them. Islam is very modest, and as he learns the English language better, he's becoming more confident and relaxed with press interviews.
Your English is getting really good. How are you learning?
I work a little bit because I need to promote myself.
But still, his privacy is extremely guarded. We don't see him outside of training and fighting in the cage. The fights can be categorized if need be, but outside of his only loss to Adriano Martins, he has gone the distance a few times, winning unanimous decisions. He has brutalized some opponents in the first round, gone 2 rounds sometimes, and always winning. There's much discussion about his future. Dana White, the president of the UFC, wants Makhachev to have another qualifier before fighting for the championship. Islam isn't impressed. That story's coming later, but let's talk about our fighter. Islam Makhachev, the focused fighter, the relentless wrestler, the checkmating choker, the determined champion. Here's the story from beginning to present. Makhachev began fighting professionally in 2010. At 5 feet 10 inches tall, he competes in the lightweight division. His stance, southpaw. Makhachev competed in M1 Global, an MMA promotion based in St. Petersburg, Russia. Islam competed within M1 from February 12, 2011 to September 7, 2014. Before signing a 4-fight contract with the UFC on October 2, 2014 at the age of 23. Islam then flew to the US in 2014 at the age of 24. And trained with the American Kickboxing Academy at their gym in San Jose, California. His career before this was none other than a 7-fight highlight streak, completely undefeated, 7-0, 5 finishes. On August 1, 2010, the 0-0 Islam went on to defeat Magomed Bekbalatov via unanimous decision for his professional MMA debut at Sumada Fighting Championship 4 in Sumadinsky, Russia. The next year, Makhachev made his statement, defeating 5 MMA opponents in professional bouts. First was Tengiz Huchua, who was finished by TKO. A very young Islam lands a solid left, knocking Huchua down, who then tries a flying takedown of Makhachev, but fails. Islam starts pounding him from a standing position while Tengiz is lying on his stomach. Strange, but true. The fight is stopped.
Переміг у цьому двобої Islam Makhachev.
His second of the year, Martyros Grigorian, is taken out almost immediately. Islam grappling and pounding. They break, a left kick to Grigorian's head, he goes down, and Islam ground and pounds to a win. The third, Magomed Ibragimov, goes down in the second round from a triangle choke submission. Vladimir Igoyan. A battered and bloodied Igoyan loses in the third round by decision. A good fight for both. To mark his 6-0 record, Miguel Grigorian loses to Makhachev by a triangle choke submission in the first round. There seems to be a pattern developing with the young Islam. On September 2, 2012, at Lion Fights 2 in St. Petersburg, Russia, Makhachev submitted Anatoly Kormilkin with an inverted triangle leg choke after a quick takedown and a long series of head punches. Too easy.
Easy, my
In 2013, Islam defeated Mansour Barnoui and Rander Junio, both via unanimous decision. At 23 years old, Makhachev was eager and ready for Barnoui. A fast fight between two young warriors, both a bit wild. Junio kicking, Islam grappling, wrestling, and with successive takedowns. Makhachev showing signs of potential greatness. Some striking and some connecting, but gets knocked down in the second. Junio gets a warning for mouth gouging. Wild punches, and both start tiring in the third round. Islam is displaying his youthful determination and willpower. A great body slam by Makhachev. He wins by decision. Makhachev faced undefeated Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt Rander Junio on August 21, 2013 at M1 Challenge 41. His toughest challenge yet. A good body kick by Junio opens the fight. But Islam comes back with a body slam and hip throw. A quick leg kick puts Junio down again in the second, and Makhachev dominates the third with good hitting and a final takedown. He wins a unanimous decision. In 2014, Makhachev faced Yuri Ivlev on June 7th at M1 Challenge 49. Islam once again dominated the fight. He softened up Ivlev with punches before finishing the fight by submission via armbar. On September 7, 2014, in his final bout for M1 Global, Makhachev defeated Avisha Trushek via submission in the third round. May 23, 2015 was the day history was made. The world just wouldn't know it at the time. It was this day Islam made his UFC debut at UFC 187 in Las Vegas, Nevada. The American Kickboxing Academy fighter defeated the American top team's Leo Kuntz. Islam Makhachev came into this bout with a lot of hype. And that Saturday night did little to slow down the hype train. Makhachev got the best of things in the first round, scoring in close with brutal boxing. Landing smooth throws and working for submissions from the ground. Kuntz managed to hang tough, but never really built any offense. Kuntz slipped early in the second round, which ultimately led to his demise. Makhachev took his back, and while Kuntz did his best to escape, Makhachev won by tap out due to rear naked choke at 2 minutes and 38 seconds of the second round.
It is all over! Islam Makhachev. And it was all about his grappling, Mike. I mean, his grappling.
It was a combat sambo-like choke, Makhachev said after the fight.
Это основной прием в боевом самбо. Любой начинающий знает этот прием. Я еще один представитель боевого самбо здесь. И я показываю, насколько сильна школа боевого самбо.
He came here to show off the sambo style, and that he did.
Congratulations on a successful debut. Islam Makhachev, ladies and gentlemen.
The highs of his UFC debut were soon turned upside down fast. He suffered a devastating loss in October of 2015 against Adriano Martins at UFC 192 in Houston, Texas. He was knocked down by a powerful right hook over the top. He lost by first-round TKO after the ref had to step in. Makhachev's first and only defeat so far. Despite his undefeated record being forever tarnished, it seems this loss from 7 years ago was the learning experience he needed to truly pursue and maintain a champion's mindset. Because the story of Islam is unlike any other fighters who has experienced a mid-career loss. His next streak would be remarkable. On September 17, 2016, Islam defeated Chris Wade via unanimous decision at UFC Fight Night 94 in Hidalgo, Texas. Wade gave Islam a tough fight, both lightweights scrambling for submissions. The bout goes the distance, with Islam winning most of the fight, despite lots of grappling and ground reversals for both fighters. Islam then went on to defeat Nick Lentz via unanimous decision at UFC 208 in Brooklyn, New York, in February of 2017.
Nick the Carney Lentz!
Makhachev had great ground control and a decent stand-up game. Using left hooks from his southpaw stance and an inside leg takedown of Lentz, Islam ground pounds Lentz, and then a final takedown in the third secures the win. Makhachev then fought Gleison Tibau on January 20th, 2018 at UFC 220. He won the fight in just 57 seconds of the first round with an overhand left for the TKO.
I think it's going to be interesting to see who has the advantage. Oh, big left hand on the set. Wow.
Nothing more needs to be said.
Last three, my opponent, not top opponent, this tough opponent. Now I'm ready for top 15. Give me please top 15 guys.
Makhachev then faced Kajan Johnson on July 28, 2018.
Сегодня ночью я намереваюсь остановить его. Лучшим вариантом для меня было бы, если получилось закончить бой досрочно, как в прошлом бою, чтобы выйти из октагона без травм.
Makhachev took Johnson down in the first round with lots of grappling and controlling Kajan's legs. Islam worked into a mount and secured an armbar, forcing Johnson to tap, giving Makhachev a submission victory. He soon defeated Arman Tsarukyan at UFC Fight Night 149 in St. Petersburg, Russia on April 20th, 2019. This marked his first fight in his home country since his time before the UFC. The fight lived up to the hype for the home crowd.
Islam Makhachev, Dan, he is, in my opinion, probably one of the most talented fighters that is currently unranked. And he's got a debut fighter. That is a risky fight for him to have taken.
It is a very risky fight. And obviously, you know, Tsarukyan's coming in with a fantastic record of his own. I think he's 13-1 or something like that. Now, Islam Makhachev is a very well-respected fighter, so it saves a lot of work if Tsarukyan can come in here and take out such a name like that.
Makhachev in the grey.
A big takedown in the first round. And brilliant wrestling equaled by Tsarukyan. Back and forth action, a fast-paced fight, grappling excellence, tripping and wrist control from Makhachev, and another takedown by the young Dagestani warrior. But Tsarukyan bounces back. Then a butterfly hook from Islam. He's too much for Tsarukyan. Twisting each other around, Makhachev grapples in the second round. Some back and forth, they start striking and boxing. Makhachev wins by decision. This was an evenly matched fight, a great fight. Makhachev faced Davi Ramos on September 7th, 2019 at UFC 242 in Abu Dhabi, United Arab Emirates. Islam showed much improved striking skills and a good second-round stand-up show.
Ramos a little bit bloodied now.
Beautiful handwork there by Makhachev.
Ramos gets a knee to the head and goes down to a ground and pound.
Ramos trying to recover. Oh, big punches.
Makhachev won the fight via unanimous decision, and the win earned him the Fight of the Night award. 2021 was nothing less than exceptional. Bigger stages, tougher competition, 3 fights, 3 finishes. Makhachev would face Drew Dober on March 6, 2021 at UFC 259. He has 6 consecutive wins by now. There's a quick takedown by Islam in the first, and superb grappling. Wrist grabbing and rollovers adding pressure. Dober's in trouble. The second round had 2 takedowns, with Islam tying up Dober's legs. After yet another takedown in the third, he won the fight by an arm triangle shoulder choke submission.
Islam's he's for real. That grappling's serious. Because that kid Drew Dober is very good. For him to handle Drew Dober that way, I was super impressed.
The game that he implemented, all right, the things that he's good at, he was phenomenal. Man, like the things that he does well, he does extremely well, and like I couldn't figure out an answer to it.
Makhachev then faced Thiago Moises on July 17, 2021.
Islam Makhachev versus Thiago Moises? Another unranked guy?
Islam appears to be one of these guys whose names you'd better get used to.
After a cautious start to the match, Islam takes down Moises.
There it is, nicely done.
A solid left kick to Moises' body in the second round. Islam pounds on the ground, but Moises bounces back.
Nice work there from Makhachev.
After smothering Moises in the fourth, Makhachev wins the fight by a rear naked choke submission. Islam had landed 148 strikes to Moises' 18. He does more than just wrestle. A bout with former UFC Lightweight Champion Rafael dos Anjos was rescheduled and was expected to take place on October 30th, 2021 at UFC 267. However, dos Anjos was forced to pull from the event due to injury, and he was replaced by Dan Hooker. Dan Hooker's no joke. The man who almost stopped prime Dustin Poirier. The man who knocked out Gilbert Burns in the very first round.
I just want to fight anyone. I'm going to fight them all. My entire career is the hard way, the hardest way possible.
Well, evidently this experience wasn't enough, and Islam quickly takes Hooker down. Gets a double leg hold and inside control. Hooker was in early trouble. Makhachev won the fight by a killer Kimura arm lock submission in the first round.
And you see how disappointed Dan is.
After loads of trash talk, Islam knocked out Bobby Green at UFC Vegas 49 on February 26, 2022. He won that bout with a ground and pound TKO in the first round. His confidence and trash talk even fooled some fans.
That's what we do. You got me fucked up. You got me fucked up. All right, gentlemen. I'm not going nowhere. Thank you, 5 rounds. Let's go. Thank you both.
And this fight had real buzz around the idea that Bobby could pull it off, despite Islam's obvious favor in the bout.
Bobby can win this fight. On the feet, Bobby's way better. Simple as that.
For Green, it was a chance to get an extra payday.
My thing is, keep the money coming.
and the hopes to perhaps hit Makhachev with the one punch that could have changed history. It wasn't to be, though. As the two were trading against the cage, Makhachev dragged Green to the canvas and wound up in half guard. He quickly got into mount and finished Green. It improved his professional MMA record to 22 wins and 1 loss. Makhachev desperately wants a title shot and feels with his record that he deserves it.
It almost seems stupid to ask you what do you want next, but what do you want next?
I need title fight. I'm ready. Tell me when and where, and that's it.
Dana White and some of the other contenders in the division don't agree.
Beneil Dariush and Islam Makhachev, you still want to make that fight next?
I do, but Joe Rogan just grabbed me in the hallway and told me not to.
White is firm on his take on Islam fighting Beneil Dariush when the latter's leg heals. Probably this summer, but Makhachev's dominance is impossible to overlook at this point. What does a guy have to do to fight for the title? If and when Islam wins that match, then White has kind of promised him a shot at the winner of the UFC 274 championship bout between Charles Oliveira and Justin Gaethje on May 7th. That title fight would take place in Abu Dhabi. Makhachev likes that idea. It's a 2-hour flight from his home. Family and friends could be there to support him. At this point, everything's a maybe. But it's complicated as usual. There's the constant annoyance of Conor McGregor for everyone. The lightweight division is stacked with great fighters, past, present, and future. And if McGregor would just go away, things could get back to some sense of normalcy. But given his past, he's going to get matches, possibly leading to a title shot with whomever is wearing the belt by then. Some speculate the potential belt vacancy between Justin and Oliveira was no coincidence. Regardless, McGregor would love to fight Islam. Of course, Makhachev doesn't really care about McGregor and quickly dismisses him.
Do you have any concern that he would step in, or maybe would you even want to fight him?
Honestly, I don't remember when this guy beat someone. I'm gonna smash him like easy. Not Bobby Green is gonna be hard for me more than for him.
McGregor probably won't get to fight Makhachev, but it would be interesting if they did. Islam would be the closest McGregor could get to fighting Nurmagomedov again. Similar styles, but who knows? Khabib doesn't think McGregor deserves a big fight. Khabib said he's not concerned that McGregor would leapfrog Makhachev, who has said that he would do to McGregor what Khabib did, but worse.
There's the tap! Still undisputed! Look at him screaming at the corner.
If Islam gets the title in Abu Dhabi, McGregor could be ancient history. Only the Octagon gods know what will be going on in the lightweight division by then. Makhachev says that he's improving every day. His ability to get in and out of a fight in the first or second round and not getting too hurt or too tired. That's what he wants, and more. But there are obstacles, real and unreal, depending on who you talk to and who's promoting. When you get to that level in the lightweight division, you're looking at the elites in MMA and UFC. Poirier, Dariush, Chandler, Makhachev, all great fighters, all worthy of the championship. How the process plays out is yet to be seen. It's business after all. Makhachev just wants a title fight after the Green beatdown. He's tired of the bullshit and the politics. He's ready.
Please, I need some top guy. I'm ready. I will be ready for anyone, please.
Makhachev's prediction for Oliveira and Gaethje was that it will be Oliveira.
I think Oliveira gonna beat Justin Gaethje, and 11 win streak versus 10 win streak. This is gonna be big fight for all MMA fans.
He saw his last fight against Dustin Poirier, and Oliveira had improved his wrestling. He recognized he had the capability to take down his opponent and finish him. Islam said Gaethje has always had problems on the ground. It's going to be a very fast, a very good fight. It might even go 2 rounds, he said.
I think he's gonna finish him.
It's under the neck. It's under the neck.
I think he's gonna choke him.
He's got down.
After Makhachev wins against Beneil Dariush, as he's planning, he's confident but cautious about a title fight with Oliveira.
And how would you beat Charles if you guys fight?
I'm gonna make him tired, pressure him, and make him give up, you know.
Both are 5'10", 155 pounds. Oliveira has a slight reach advantage. Both are physically strong and relentless fighters. It would be an exciting matchup, given Islam's smothering combat sambo wrestling and Oliveira's Brazilian jiu-jitsu superiority. Oliveira is no doubt Makhachev's toughest opponent. They're both good grapplers and strikers. Islam has a wrestling advantage and is a submission hunter. Both need a stand-up game, but the fight will probably end on the ground. Both have what is called high fighter IQ. They're smart, and they like moving forward on their opponents. Offense over defense. Before the Gaethje fight, Makhachev was heard to be a 4-1 favorite by decision over Oliveira. But with Oliveira's absolute destruction over Gaethje, it's safe to say that this fight will even out for the bookies. In the meantime, Makhachev laughs when he talks about the possibility of fighting Conor McGregor, and that when he gets the lightweight title, he'll defend it 3 times a year, McGregor or no McGregor. Ambitious for anyone. After that, Islam Makhachev dreams of moving up to welterweight in the future and owning the 2 belts.
Two belts. I like this moment.
He says that when Kamaru Usman makes so much money fighting guys like Canelo Alvarez and Leon Edwards that he'll retire and Islam can take the welterweight title. If anyone can, Islam can. He is determined, focused, and always ready. There's a film of him riding horses at full gallop in complete control. Both man and animal racing the wind with total power and an absolute fierceness. His rise to the UFC Championship can be seen as the same. Let's just see how it all plays out.